So this month we've been doing a series revolving around marriage and relationships titled Just Do It. And it's been really fun. Our pastors have been doing a really great job encouraging healthy marriage, why marriage was created, and also focusing on the relationship part of that for those that may not be married right now. And as I've been studying the gospel, specifically in Matthew 6, reading about giving to the needy, the question just that pops in my head is, what are your intentions? And I thought that was just so appropriate because it goes along with love, and love is marriage, love is relationship. And so what are your intentions is a question that I want you to keep in the back of your mind. And then continuing to read through Matthew in chapter 6, when it talks about you're laying your treasures in heaven and how we shouldn't focus on treasures on earth because they're gonna rot, they're gonna be destroyed, they're temporary, we don't get to take them, and we need to be focusing on the treasure of heaven, eternal life with God, getting to worship and glorify Him forever. Another question is, where is your heart? Which is so appropriate too, because where is your heart? Is your heart full of love in that marriage, in that relationship? And so those are just two questions that have been really just turning around in my mind and my heart, and I thought it was so appropriate because they are love questions, and we're talking about marriage and relationship. And but I want to focus on just one thing real quick, and that, what is the foundation of your marriage? What is the foundation of the relationships that you're in? And so in Matthew 7, when it's talking about building your house on the rock, it's so appropriate that your relationship should be built around the rock. Your relationship should be built around Christ, because where do you think relationship comes from? God created relationship in the very beginning when He created Adam. That was the first relationship, and it was good. It was perfect. It was before sin had entered the world, and He wanted relationship with Adam. And then He saw that Adam needed a helper, and so He created Eve to give him that relationship, to give him that marriage. And so I just want to read Matthew 7:24. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. Your marriage, your relationship will not fall if it is founded on the rock. If the center of your marriage, if the center of your relationships is Christ, it will not fall. And it doesn't say it doesn't rock back and forth, because it's not perfect. We live in a sinful world, but it's not going to fall. And so I just encourage you to, if you're not even in a relationship yet, or if your relationship's going through trials, if your marriage just isn't the honeymoon phase anymore, that maybe you need to recenter it on the rock. And that's just such an important reminder. And during the series, Pastor Melissa, this past Sunday, she started the sermon off with a quote, and she said, why would the enemy attack something if it wasn't good? In marriage and relationship, they were created to be good. Because God created them, He wants them with us, and He wants us to have them. So if something feels rocky, and you just need to remind yourself to go back to your rock, to go back to Jesus, and don't let the enemy win. Don't let him have defeat. And that doesn't mean that if something isn't right, that you try to force it. Maybe you going to your foundation, maybe you making sure that Christ is the foundation of that marriage or that relationship more specifically, means that maybe it is time to end that relationship. But if you're in a marriage, find that rock, and that rock will save it. And so I just want to encourage you to just ask yourself, where is your heart? What are your intentions? And is your marriage, is your relationship built around the rock?